Hey everyone, my name is Marie and I'm going to take you through a slow flow today. Let's begin in child's pose. So if you want a little bit more of a hip opening child's pose, make sure that you separate your knees wide, maybe even wider than your mat. And then sink your hips back towards your heels, start to walk your fingertips forward, and then melt your chest down into the mat, maybe resting your forehead onto the mat. If you want a little bit more of a back stretch for your child's pose, bring your knees together and hands can come down alongside your legs, maybe reaching your fingertips back. So whatever it is that you need today, make your way there. And then we always spend the first few moments of class just really trying to settle in, trying to find some way to escape from that chaotic world that we came from. When you step on your mat, when you're within the four corners of your mat, make sure that you can just maybe soften your eyes, maybe take a deep breath in through your nose, filling everything up, and then open up your mouth and press it all out. Sometimes that just helps you to settle in. Let's just spend a minute here observing your breath, observing your body, all of the sensations that are arising. Notice what parts of your body are pressing into the mat. Maybe it's your forehead, the tops of your feet, your shins. Just try to come into this present moment. So you're really just thinking about what is happening here and now. And then when you're ready, let's start to rise up onto our hands and knees. We're going to start by taking a toe stretch. So curl your toes under. You're in a tabletop pose. Curl your toes under and then start to sink your hips back towards your heels again. This time, maybe walking your hands back so that you can lift your chest, lift your torso up, and then just gently sit back onto the balls of your feet. Your toes are still stretching forward. Maybe you can even reach down and pull your pinky toes out to the side, pulling them up so that you even stretch all the way through your pinky toe side of your foot. And if this is too intense already in the beginning, you can always walk your hands forward again so it's not so intense on your toes. But maybe for just a few extra breaths, let's focus on our feet, focus on our toes, maybe starting now to deepen our breath. Filling in through the lungs, filling all the way into our bellies. And then with your lips sealed, just reversing that entire process, starting to exhale out your nose. All right, start to walk your hands back to tabletop pose. Untuck your toes and then come to the tops of your feet. Let's focus on our ankles now. So sit back onto your heels with your toes untucked and see how it feels to just lean back slightly. Maybe even lifting your knees off the mat. So you can feel that gentle stretch through the tops of your feet, through your ankles, and maybe even up your shins. You can walk your hands back behind you for a little extra support, or maybe you can even place them on your knees. But feel through the tops of your ankles, all of those little muscles through your feet, through your ankles. Those are going to help us with our standing postures, helping to find balance in our balancing postures. So let's give them just a quick little warm up here. And gently set your knees back down. Now how about our wrists? Come back to your tabletop pose. So your shoulders are directly over your wrists and your hips are over your knees. Just a neutral position right here. And now with every exhale, maybe leaning forward, putting a little bit more pressure onto your wrists. Your shoulders can come back over top of your wrists, even past them. And then exhale to come back to a neutral position. Inhale, lean forward, maybe a little bit further each time. Just getting our wrists warmed up for any sort of inversion or arm balance, even downward facing dog. It's important to have our wrists prepared and ready for this. Few more times. Leaning forward a little bit further each time. Make sure your fingertips are spread wide. And then exhale back to neutral tabletop pose. Let's try to flip our wrists. Flip your hands around so that your fingertips are now facing your knees. Your wrists are pointing forward. Thumbs are to the side. And now you can either stay here, but if you're ready for a little bit more intensity, go ahead and lean back now. And then back to neutral. With every breath, maybe taking a little bit further. How about 3 more? Inhale to come back to neutral tabletop. Exhale, lean back. And 1 more. Excellent. Flip your fingers back to face the front. And then we're going to let's come to a downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under and then gently lift your hips up. So you're in the inverted V shape here. Now, let's work on spreading your fingertips wide. Your hands are about shoulder width apart. Arm bones are hugging in. And then press your chest back towards your thighs. So you're really focusing on opening up your shoulders, your chest. You can keep a slight bend in your knees for now. Lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, reaching the crown of the head. So you're really focusing on your spine to begin with. And from here, then you can start to straighten out your legs, maybe one at a time, starting to bend one knee and then the other, walking out this dog. Keep breathing, hugging in your lower belly here. And now let's make our way all the way through to seated. So you can walk your feet forward, crossing at your ankles, and then just come down onto your sit bones. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana, which is like a butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together, knees open up like the pages of a book, and maybe shifting your weight from side to side just so that you can sit up nice and tall, reaching up through the crown of your head, long straight spine. And we're going to start to take some spinal twists. Let's warm up our spine now. So inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, let's twist to the right. So bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Right hand comes behind you as you twist and turn your gaze over your right shoulder. So you're facing the back of the room now. Spend a few extra breaths here. Maybe every inhale using your breath in to lift up and lengthen through the spine. Using your exhales to twist a little bit deeper. And now take a breath in and come back through center. Lift your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Let's take a twist to the left. Right palm to the left knee, left hand behind you as you turn your gaze towards the back. And again, a few breaths here. And inhale, come back through center. Lift your arms up. And now fold forward. Right down through the center. See if you can lead with your chest. So you try to take the roundness out of your back when you're coming down. You can grab onto your big toes or maybe walk your fingertips forward. Tucking your chin. Once you lead with your chest and you get as far down as you can, then tuck your chin just to add a little bit extra. Few breaths here. And inhale, start to walk your hands back so you can come up to seated. Let's find boat pose. So start to balance on your sit bones, bring your legs together and then extend them out. Your arms can come parallel with the floor, or maybe you're ready to reach them up overhead. But most importantly, press your chest forward so there's no roundness in your spine. Chest comes forward. If you need to make some modifications, you can always grab onto the backs of your thighs. You can always place your hands down behind you for a little extra support. But don't always jump to those modifications. See if you can challenge yourself to find your fullest expression of boat. And exhale, slowly lower your feet down to the mat. Let's take reverse table. So plant your hands about 6 inches to a foot behind you, fingertips facing your heels. And then use your inhale just to press into the palms of your hands and your feet as you lift your hips up, dropping your head back between your shoulder blades. And one more breath. Excellent. Use your exhale to drop your hips down to the mat very gently. And let's take ourselves through that again. So come back into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, and use your inhale to lift your arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back up through center, reach your fingertips up, and exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back up through center, and now exhale, fold right down the middle. Take a breath in as you lift your chest, lift your feet, come and find boat pose again. All right, this time, one more breath here, and then use your exhale. Let's try something new. Let's open your legs up wide, bring the palms of your hands together, and reach your fingertips forward. Something a little bit different. Inhale, come back up through boat again, and exhale, drop your feet, drop your hands, reverse table. Inhale to lift your hips, drop your head back between your shoulder blades. Exhale, lower your hips back to the ground. One more time through Baddha Konasana. Inhale to lift, exhale to twist. Inhale brings you back through center, and then change sides. Come back through center, and then fold down the middle on your breath out. Inhale to lift your chest, extend those legs, reach your arms up, boat pose, balancing on your sit bones. And exhale, legs open wide, palms come together, reach your fingertips forward. Inhale, back up to boat, just a breath here. Exhale, reverse table, plant your hands, use your inhale to lift your hips. Maybe a little bit higher this third time around. And exhale, slowly lower down. Let's take a half vinyasa. So just lift your arms and legs as a transition, cross your ankles, roll over your shin bones as you plant your hands to the top of the mat. Step or shoot your feet to the back. You're in a high plank pose. Now slowly lower down for chaturanga, low push-up. Elbows squeezing in as you lean forward. Once you get there, come to the tops of your feet. Press into the palms as you lift your chest, lift your chin, draw your shoulder blades down and back, and then tuck your toes, lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Let's take 5 breaths here, so make all of those adjustments. There's no reason to keep this static. You can still keep moving, swaying your hips, bending into one knee and then the other. And then inhale, look up between your fingertips, come to your tiptoes. Exhale, deep bend in the knees and step, hop, or walk to the front of the mat. Halfway lift when you get there on the inhale. Exhale, fold yourself back in, chest to thighs. Let's drop our hips down low, come up into chair pose. So inhale, reach your chest up, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Big toes connect, legs are squeezing together, glutes are engaged, tailbone tucked under, lower belly drawing in. See if you can drop your shoulder blades down, shoulders away from your ears. And then soften your facial features, unclench your jaw, and breathe. Let's take a chair prayer twist to the right. Palms come together, and then lean forward as you twist to the right. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee, maybe turning your gaze up past your right shoulder. Try to keep your knees in line with one another. Oftentimes our left knee tries to sneak forward. Draw it back so it's right in line with your right knee. Inhale brings you back up through chair. Reach your arms up, and let's just change sides. Prayer twist to the left. Lean forward first with the crown of your head, then twist to the left. See if you can keep your palms together right in the middle of your chest, right in front of your sternum. Inhale, back up through chair. Let's stand up tall, release that pressure on your legs, and then fold forward. Inhale, it's a halfway lift. Exhale, take your vinyasa, or just step back into downward facing dog. The vinyasa is the chaturanga to the upward facing dog to downward facing dog. All right, let's begin another warm-up flow. Just taking it nice and slow. On the inhale, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. See if when you're here, you can keep your hips level. Right hip in line with the left hip, so don't lift it up too high. And now use your exhale to step your right foot all the way towards the front of the mat, in between your hands, and now drop your back knee towards the mat. So you're resting on the back knee. Maybe you want to walk your left leg back a little bit so there's not too much pressure on your knee. And then untuck your toes. We're going to come into crescent on the knee. So use your inhale just to lift your chest, lift your arms, and then gaze up at the ceiling. Keep pressing your hips forward so you can feel it all the way through the left quadriceps, the left hip flexors, and then there's a slight back bend here too. Now let's take a prayer twist with our knees still on the mat. Bring your palms to heart center, lean forward, and you're just going to twist to the right. So bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Try to twist so much that the palms of your hands come towards the center of your chest. Now this can always be done off your back knee too. If it's too much pressure, you can tuck your back toes under and simply lift off. And one more pose on our knee, reverse warrior. Reach your left hand back for your left ankle, maybe your calf, and your right arm up and over your ear. So now we're just turning the other direction. You're facing the left, the long edge of your mat. See if you can breathe into this left side body. Feel your intercostal muscles really opening up on every inhale, breathing in, creating more space. Exhales maybe sinking deeper into that right lunging leg. And now it's a seated half splits. So maybe windmill your hands to the top of the mat first, and then start to sink your hips back towards your left heel. straightening out the right leg. And you can stay right here with your hips lifted, or if you have a little bit more space, you can sit all the way down onto your back heel, flexing your right toes up towards the ceiling, maybe even grabbing onto your right foot. And then find a little bit of rest here. You can tuck your chin. Come back to your breath. Feel the lengthening along the back of your right leg. And now start to walk your hands forward again. We're going to come into three-legged dog. So tuck your back toes under first. And then simply inhale to lift your right leg all the way up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. And now from here, let's take knee to opposite elbow. So bring your right knee, lean forward as you tuck your knee in to try to touch your left elbow, maybe even left tricep. Few breaths here, feeling your core really working to engage. And then inhale, let's take a side plank. So lift your right arm up, as you balance on your left palm. You can do whatever you want with your legs, maybe just stacking the right leg over the left. And now let's take a vinyasa. So plant your right hand down, come to your plank, lean forward as you lower down slowly. Inhale for upward facing dog. Maybe keep your knees lifted off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here before we move on to the left side. Every time you're here, keep working on opening the shoulders, opening the chest, elongating your spine. The very last priority is to bring your heels closer to the mat. All right, inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Remember, keep your hips level with one another. Use your breath out to step your left foot to the top of the mat between your hands and then drop your back knee into the mat. Remember, crescent warrior. We're going to stay on our back knee though. Inhale, lift your chest and lift your arms. Keep pressing your hips forward, opening up your right hip flexor, right quadricep. Maybe turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then bring your palms to heart center. We're going to take a prayer twist to the left this time. So lean forward, reach with the crown of your head, then hook right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Turn your gaze up over your left shoulder. Keep pressing into the knee. Press the palms together so maybe you can keep twisting enough, bringing the hands together into the center of your chest. And now it's reverse warrior on the knees. So we're going to turn the other direction now as our right hand comes down our back leg, left arm reaches over your ear, maybe even leaning so much back that your left hand is reaching towards the back of the room. Feel it in your left side body. One more breath. And then it's a seated half splits. Bring your hands to the front of the mat first. Now start to straighten out your left leg as you lean your hips back towards your right heel. Staying here with your hips lifted or maybe bringing them all the way down. Really feeling the stretch through the left leg now. Grab a hold of your toe, maybe tucking your chin. How's your breath? Now start to walk your hands to the top of the mat. Tuck your back toes under. It's a three-legged dog, so lift your left leg up towards the ceiling on the inhale. Exhale, bring your knee to the opposite elbow. Left knee touches the right elbow. Maybe even lift it up higher towards your tricep and hold here. Feel your obliques engage, that side of your abdominal muscles. And one more, side plank. So step your left foot back. Start to lift your left arm up towards the ceiling as you come into the side plank pose. Maybe from here you can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Keep those hips lifted though. Don't let them sag down towards the mat. Keep pressing them up. One more breath. And then use your exhale to bring your left hand towards the mat. Take your vinyasa. Lean forward first, lower down slowly. Inhale for upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. 5 breaths here and we'll begin again. We're going to start again in chair pose. And when you're ready, make your way to the top of the mat. Once you get there, how about a halfway lift to lengthen your spine? Exhale, fold yourself back in. Drop your hips, bending your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. On your next exhale, prayer twist to the right. Bring the palms together, lean forward, and now twist. Elbow to the outside of your right knee. Inhale brings you back through to chair. And exhale, let's change sides. Use your inhale to come back up through to chair. Stand up tall, release those legs as you lean back, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, it's a halfway lift, look out. Exhale, plant your hands, take your vinyasa, or just step back to downward facing dog. You can always drop your knees down to the mat when you're lowering down into chaturanga. From downward facing dog, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it forward for crescent warrior on your back knee. Drop your back knee down. Use your inhale to lift your chest, lift your arms. I want to show you another variation here. You can always interlace your hands behind your back for a little bit deeper back bend. So pulling your shoulder blades down your back, maybe dropping your head back a little bit further. Reaching your fingers for the mat now. All right, come back through to center. Reach your fingertips up, and now prayer twist. Palms together, lean forward, and then twist to the right. Use your elbow to press against your knee. On your next inhale, let's come into reverse warrior. So left hand down your back leg, reaching towards your ankle. Inhale, right arm over. Keep lunging into the right leg. And now it's seated half splits. Start to straighten out your right leg as you lean your hips back towards your heel. Getting down as far as you want to. And then walk your hands forward. Let's come into three-legged dog. Tuck your left toes under. Inhale, right leg up towards the ceiling. Once you get there, come through and tap knee to opposite elbow. Right knee to left elbow. Hold it there, just another breath. Inhale brings you through to side plank. Lift your right arm up. Stack your right leg over top of the left. Maybe this time you lift your right leg up for something extra here. And exhale, take your vinyasa, come through to your high plank, lower down slowly. From downward facing dog, let's take this through again, left hand side. Use your inhale, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. And exhale, step your left foot forward, drop your back knee, crescent warrior. Remember, let's try that new variation. Clasp your hands together behind your back, pull your shoulder blades down as you reach your fingertips towards the mat. Drop your head back. And then inhale, lift your arms back up towards the ceiling. Let's take a prayer twist. This time to the left. Reverse your warrior. Right hand down your back leg, left arm up. Keep lunging. And seated half splits. Start to straighten out your left leg. Sink your hips back. Fold over your left leg. Inhale, walk your hands forward, tuck your back toes under, three-legged dog, left leg lifts. And exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Tap the right elbow, maybe right tricep, hold it there. One more breath. And spin open for side plank, left hand lifts. Maybe let your left leg lift too. And exhale, take your vinyasa. How about dropping your knees into the mat for cobra? And then drop your hips back into child's pose. Just a few breaths here to reconnect. Find your breath again. Inhale, come up to tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Just a breath here because I want to come all the way through to seated again. Walk your feet through your hands and come down onto your sit bones. Let's come back into boat pose. We're not done yet. Use your inhale to lift your legs, lift your arms, balance on your sit bones. Press your chest forward. Let's take 5 breaths here. Modify if you need to. Exhale, lower down halfway. See if you can let your heels hover just a few inches off the mat. Shoulder blades hovering too. Squeeze your legs together. 5 breaths. Two more, you've got this. Inhale, come back up through boat. And now take your vinyasa, cross your ankles, plant your hands to the top of the mat, step your feet back, and come into downward facing dog, or go through the whole motion. All right, once we get here, let's raise our right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. And exhale, we're gonna bring our right foot to the top of the mat and plant your back heel, sky archer pose. So both legs are gonna be straight, hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Left hand can come down your back thigh. Inhale, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, maybe even leaning so much that it reaches towards the back of the room. Sky archer pose. So huge right side body opener here. Again, with every inhale, see if you can feel your rib cage expanding, your intercostal muscles stretching. Maybe using your left hand to grab onto your right wrist and pulling very gently a little bit deeper into this stretch. From here, it's extended triangle. So bring your arms out to a T first, and then start to lean forward. Right fingertips reaching as far forward as they can. Send your hips back, and then once you get to the fullest extension, right hand comes down to toe, ankle, maybe shin, and left arm comes up towards the ceiling. Turn your gaze up past your left shoulder. If it doesn't hurt your neck. If your neck is bothering you, you can always turn your gaze down. But in an extended triangle, keep pulling your left shoulder back. So your torso isn't rotating down towards the mat, it's rotating up. Imagine yourself sandwiched between two panes of glass. So you're one long line. Feel it through your left hip. Feel it through the back of your right thigh. Maybe lift all 10 toes off the ground to make sure that you're not gripping with your toes too much. You want to be balancing within the four corners of your feet. Now from here, we're gonna revolve our triangle. So all we're gonna do is take this triangle and twist it to the other direction. You start off by bringing your left palm to the ground, and then how about walking your back foot forward a little bit? Because you want to keep both legs straight. All we're going to do from here is just inhale, right arm swims up towards the ceiling. You're twisting to the right now. So turn your gaze up past your right fingertips. Hug your lower belly in. See if you can draw your right hip back in space a little bit, left hip pulling forward. So your hips are now square towards the front of the mat. You can always use a block if you have trouble getting your left hand all the way down to the ground. And now it's half moon pose. So we're twisting to the right. All we're gonna do is twist to the left now. So bring your right palm to the right corner of the mat. Start to tilt your weight forward so you can come off your back foot. And inhale, left arm towards the ceiling. Left leg is lifted. Keep your left toes flexed. Try to stack your shoulders, left over top of right. Try to stack your hips, left over right. We're opening up to the other direction now. And from here, we're just gonna step our left foot towards the back of the mat, coming into warrior B. So put a bend in your front leg. Arms come out to a T. Fingertips are in line with your shoulders. Turn your gaze over your right fingertips. Deep lunge into your right leg. Hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Try not to let your knee come too far to the left. Keep pulling your knee out towards your pinky side toes. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine that you're trying to hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades. A few more breaths here. See if every exhale you can just sink deeper into your right leg. And now let's take eagle arm. So it's always the back hand swims up and around your top arm. See if you can wrap your arms around each other. Bring the palms of your hands together. Lift your elbows and fingertips up towards the ceiling. Take a slight back bend, and then exhale, just waterfall down. So you're gonna bring your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee, reaching your fingertips down towards the mat. Feel this stretch through the top of your back, through the middle of your shoulder blades. It's really such an expansive stretch. With every inhale, you can feel your back stretching, reaching the crown of your head towards the ground. Still lunging into the right leg. And now unwind your eagle arms. Keep lunging into your right leg. Reverse your warrior. Left hand can come down your back leg, maybe around your lower back, but use your inhale to lift your right arm over your ear. Reverse warrior. From here, it's a side squat to the back. So come to star first. Bring your toes and hips so they're facing the long edge of the mat, and then palms come together. Start to lunge into your left leg. Right leg remains straight as you bring your hips down towards your left heel. Maybe now coming off your toes, so your toes point up towards the ceiling. And feel the stretch along the back of your right leg, maybe the right inner thigh. Inhale, use all of the strength in your left leg as you come all the way up to star pose again. Arms reach out, and now simply fold forward, hinging from your hips. Bring your palms in line with your heels. Your hands are right underneath your shoulders. You can turn your toes in and your heels out for a little extra balance. Just find some release in the backs of your legs here. Maybe turning your head from side to side, releasing your cervical spine. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. And now take a yoga walk to the front of the mat. So you walk your hands all the way to the front, surround your right foot, and we're gonna come up into airplane pose. So maybe put a slight bend into your right leg first. Start to tilt your weight forward as you lift off your back leg. Now straighten out your front leg. Palms can come to heart center. Maybe you open them up into airplane wings. Find a spot on the floor to focus on. Draw your attention, narrow your focus. Find balance here. Flex your back toes. And now we're going to take a curtsy squat. So start to bring your palms back to heart center if they were out. Bend into your right leg. Bend your left leg. Keep it lifted though. You're getting low like a speed skater, right? Don't let your belly rest on your right thigh. Keep it lifted. And now from here, one more balancing pose. Revolved king dancer. Start to reach your right hand back for your left foot. Grab a hold of your foot or your ankle and then inhale. Once you find stability, then stand up tall. Keep pressing your foot into your hand as you lean forward, maybe extending your left fingertips towards the front of the room too. It's a twisting back bend, balancing pose. There's a lot going on here, so forgive yourself if you are wobbling or shaking. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of concentration. You guys can do it, you're doing great. And then step your left foot to the back of the mat. Let's take a vinyasa. Or just step back into downward facing dog. From here, left side, left leg lifts. Step it forward, sky archer's pose. So both legs are straight. Right hand down your back thigh. Inhale, left arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe grabbing a hold of your left wrist, gentle tug towards the back. Feel it in your left side body. And now extend your triangle. Arms come out to a T first. Start to reach your left fingertips forward as far as you can. Now down. Inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. Remember, keep pulling your right shoulder back. Keep rotating your torso up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. From here, we're going to revolve our triangle. So we're just going to twist it in the other direction. Start by dropping your right hand down towards the right corner of the mat. Step your right foot up a little bit. Shorten your stance so that you can square your hips towards the front of the mat, and then use your inhale to lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Turn your gaze up too if it doesn't bother your neck. Keep pulling left hip back, right hip forward. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Always use a block if you need that extra support. And also, for the next pose, half moon pose, you can plant your left hand to the left corner of the mat or on a block. Start to tilt your weight forward as you lift your right arm, right leg. Flex your right toes. Engage the back leg. Maybe challenge yourself by turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. Stack shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip. One more breath here. And then use your exhale to step your right foot all the way towards the back of the mat. Come into warrior B. So put a lunge in your left leg. Arms come out to a T. Warrior two. Keep that deep lunge. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Fingertips in line with your shoulders. Turn your gaze towards the front of the room, just past your left fingertips. One more breath here. And now wrap up your eagle arms. Always the back arm wraps in front and under, around, and then bring the palms of your hands together if you can. Use your inhale to lean back, lift your shoulders, lift your elbows, excuse me. Now fold forward. Left shoulder just inside left knee. Reach your fingertips now towards the mat. Still lunging. Still breathing. Inhale, keep the lunge, but come into reverse warrior. So just use your core muscles to lift your entire torso up. Left arm over your ear as you open up the left side body here. Right hand can come down your back leg, maybe wrapping it around your lower back. A few more breaths. Keep lunging deep into that left leg. Now, side squat to the back. So bring your palms together first. Turn your toes to face the long edge of the mat. Start to lunge into your right leg. Come all the way down, hips towards your heel, maybe turning your left toes up towards the ceiling to deepen the stretch through the back of your left leg. And hold here for just a couple more breaths. Inhale, come back up through star. Use all of the strength in your right leg to lift yourself back up. Arms out to a T. And now exhale, fold right down the middle. Maybe this time binding your hands together, clasping your fingers together. As you fold forward, reach the crown of your head towards the mat. Pull your hands away from your lower back. Toes turn in, heels out for balance. Deep breaths. And release the bind of your hands. Bring your hands to the mat and inhale, flat back, take a lift. Start to walk your hands towards the front of the mat. Now surround your left foot. Keep your back toes tucked under. It's three-legged dog. So just lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. And take airplane pose. Step your left foot forward. Lean into your left leg as you extend your right leg behind you. Flex your right toes. Reach through the crown of your head. One long line from the crown of your head all the way through your right heel. Palms can be at heart center. Maybe open them up for airplane wings. But now let's take a curtsy squat. So palms come back to heart center. Start to bend into your right knee as you bend into your left knee. Right knee behind a bending left. Get down low. And this prepares us for revolved king dancer. So reach left hand back for your right foot or ankle. Come up to standing first. Extend your right arm. Press your foot into your left palm, creating a deeper back bend here. Find stillness, find your balance. Wobble and shake and get stronger. There you go. Let's step your foot to the back of the mat. Take your vinyasa. From downward facing dog, how about drop your knees into the mat and find child's pose. Just for a few breaths before we move on. Inhale up to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips. And let's find pigeon pose on the right hand side. Maybe you want to come into it from three-legged dog. Lift your right leg up. And then use your exhale to draw your right knee towards your right wrist, bringing your shin down towards the mat. Walk your left toes back. So extend your left leg far behind you. And find a comfortable spot, balancing right in the middle. Try to even your hips out. If you want more intensity, you can bring your right toes up closer to your left wrist. Or if it's too much, you can always bring your foot back towards the midline. Use your inhale to really prepare for this pose. Sit up tall, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, start to walk your hands forward as deeply as you want to come into this. Maybe coming down onto your forearms. And you can spend a few breaths here, and if you think that you can go a little bit further, just continue to walk your fingertips forward. Maybe bringing your chest all the way down towards the mat. A few more breaths here. See if you can get a little bit deeper into this pose. See if there's any more space. And inhale, start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders so that you can lift your chest up. We're just going to switch sides. So I'm going to tuck my back toes under and come into three-legged dog just so I can release my right hip, extending your right leg up towards the ceiling, and then set it down gently to meet the left. Let's change sides. Left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to left wrist. Come down onto your shin bones, and then walk your right leg back. Keep it extended as far back as you can behind you. Find a comfortable position, making your adjustments, and then sit up tall first so you can lengthen and elongate your spine. Now exhale, slowly and gently walk your hands forward. About 15 breaths here, so see if you can settle in. Use your inhale to gently lift your chest, walk your hands back. Now you can come into three-legged dog again just to stretch that left hip out, or maybe just roll onto your left hip so you can swing your right leg around and towards the front. Let's find forward fold. So bringing your legs together, extending them straight out in front of you, maybe shifting your hips from side to side to find tall length through your spine. And then hug your lower belly in as you start to reach forward, leading with your chest. And this time we don't need to hold on to anything. Maybe just opening your palms up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin in. There can be a slight roundness in your spine when you're coming into these yin postures. And we're just going to hold this for several breaths. Maybe every exhale, see if you can just release somewhere, taking it up deeper and deeper. Inhale to lift your chest, walk your hands back. Let's lower down slowly onto our backs. Maybe drawing your knees in towards your chest once you get there. Give them a gentle squeeze. And then let your knees fall over to the right hand side. Arms come out to a T. Turn your chin over your left shoulder for a spinal twist. You can always place your right hand on top of your knees just to give it a little bit extra. Inhale to draw your knees back in through center. And let's change sides. Let them drop over to the left hand side. Turn your chin to the right. Inhale, knees come back in through center. Give them a squeeze. Maybe gently massaging your lower back. You rock side to side. Let's make our way into that final resting posture. So extend your right leg out to the right corner of the mat. Left leg extends, taking up as much space as you need to. Let your arms fall along sides, palms facing up. Take a deep inhale in through your nose, fill it all up. And then press it out your mouth. Soften your eyes. See if you can let every muscle just relax and melt into the mat. And take rest. Gentle movements in your fingers, your toes. Turning your head from side to side. And then draw your legs together, reach your arms overhead for that full body stretch. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Give them a squeeze. And then gently let your knees fall over to one side or the other. Slowly pressing yourself up to that comfortable seated position. Ankles crossed. Lift your arms up towards the ceiling. And then draw your palms into heart center, bowing your head, moment of gratitude. I certainly thank you for sharing your practice here with me today. I look forward so greatly to seeing you again soon. Take an inhale, deep inhale through your nose, filling up. Exhale, press it out. Namaste.